So I'm back with Discover Energy work, and I know I've had a bit of a hiatus, but recently we had this incredible interview with Angela Ford from the remote viewing program in the United States, and I thought one person I'd love to introduce to everybody is my friend Alice. And I mean, I just talking to her, I just feel like a bit of a kindred spirit with her because of her experiences. Um, but you don't know that, so I'll let Alice introduce herself a bit. Well, welcome, Alice, to Discover Energy Work. So, how do you introduce yourself?
Um, in all honesty, I see how where the other person is on their journey, and if they are just of the cerebral mind, they're just this world, then I say I'm a yoga teacher. It's
Yeah.
something that they understand. Um, I've been met with a lot of cynicism.
Yeah.
So I just protect myself and just say, I'm a yoga teacher. That's all you need to know. Really.
So
Yes.
let's go up a level. So when somebody's a little bit more open, then how do you introduce yourself?
Yeah. If I had just the freedom, I would say I'm a psychic medium and quantum healer. Um, those would be my titles.
Okay, that's cool. And so I mean, we have an audience. I don't even know exactly what my audience is, but a lot of them are remote viewers, and certainly, as I was explaining to you, I want to advocate for psychics because there's so many stories which I personally have about like things that you could say are normally impossible or outside the realm of the scientific. Um, yeah, I mean, how does your story as a psychic start? I mean, where do you say it begins, or is that? And that's a really difficult question because you've got to decide. Like, it could start here and it could start here. So take your time if you need it.
Yeah, so I guess I've always been a sensitive child, and growing up, sensitivity wasn't such a great thing.
Hmm.
Um, I guess my heightened awareness is when my journey with psychicness really started in 2019, February, 6 years ago now. I was in the island of Koh Phangan in Thailand. I went there for a month and I did something silly. I went to a party and then I drove home. But I never made it home that night. Um, and funny thing is that um, when I was leaving the party, it was the full moon party. I heard a really loud voice in my ear saying, "Put your helmet on." So I was like, "Whoa, was that a security guard? Was that like a parking attendant?" So I looked around and there was no one there, and I was like, "Okay, so that was a clear sign." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I will." So I put my helmet on. I was driving home. I was then fiddling with the speaker that I have on my scooter, and there was a knowing, there was a sudden life slowed down as I tumbled off my scooter. I was found by a very nice German couple, and I was carted off to hospital. So then, in hospital, I so I got to hospital and I just wanted to sleep. So I didn't know what was happening. It took a few hours to get there because they had to bring me to Koh Samui, another island. Um, so all I wanted to do was sleep. So I got to the hospital, did the things, don't remember anything, don't know if what happened, um, and I slept. And then at 4 a.m. in the morning, I felt this hand just grab me with reassurance. And this part of my face was plastered. My face was swollen. Um, so I couldn't see through this eye. This hand was on my shoulder. So it woke me up at 4 a.m. And I was like, I thought, that is so nice. A nurse came in to check on me in the middle of the night whilst I was sleeping. So then I turned and I couldn't see anyone. So I lifted myself up and I turned around and there was no one there. So I laid back down and I said, who was that? Who is this? And it was the energy of my father's father. And I was like, that is very nice and very comforting. Thank you. And I just knew that he was sent by my dad to come to check on me because my dad was very worried. So I laid back down and went back to sleep. The next day, I woke up and I was in so much pain. And I asked the nurses, why am I in so much pain? Yesterday I didn't feel this pain. And they said, it's because you don't have morphine. And I said, please give me morphine. And they said, we can't because you might have to have head or brain surgery. So when they said that, I knew that I wasn't going to get any morphine. So, okay, fine. So I laid back down and I did something that I didn't know what I was doing. I laid back down and I was just like, no pain. And later on, I found out that my body made its own morphine for the day. Yes, there was some pain, but the amount of pain that I did feel before was not the same amount of pain as I did throughout that day. Yeah. So my mediumship came in because of because of this accident. So that's the kind of start.
So kind of like there was like it sounds like there was like a like a break in the film, like you left the party, you got this very clear message, like sort of like somebody literally speaking in your ear and you're looking around for it. You then kind of wake up in the hospital almost. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yeah, I blacked out. I was in and out of consciousness, but
Mm.
yes.
And then you've got this uh like somebody's touching you, and then you've got this when you said no pain, do you know, was it you saying like no pain, or did you feel like you got the information to say no pain, or did you just like I will have no pain?
Um, so I don't know.
That's cool.
When
That's
I
good.
laid back down, I just surrendered to the moment. And then I felt it's like a wave of
Wind.
I didn't try to make it happen. The words came to me, no pain. I didn't repeat it or anything. I didn't know what to do. I just laid down and surrendered to whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I didn't want to feel the pain anymore. Um, and that's when I didn't feel the pain. I just surrendered.
Right. Wow,
Yeah.
cool. And so now we're literally like a few hours into like a I mean, you obviously got the idea. I'm sorry, I think you got the idea that you had a brain trauma now. You already realized like something serious could be brain surgery in Koh Samui is like not the most reassuring thing to hear.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Yeah. So, yeah, I could have had to have brain surgery or head surgery. Um, and luckily, I didn't. So I broke two bones in my face here, and I've scars all over my body. I've got a scar here. But with this resetting naturally, um, it reset in a certain way in my head that I can feel that I did feel my nerve, my eye nerve here when I did this before. And now, no, because last year I dedicated 2024 to healing my brain. So I didn't know that I had a concussion and brain trauma for 6 years. So I just lived with it. It was all part of my ascension process, I guess.
okay.
Uh, yeah.
That's an interesting word to pick. So what is I mean, I don't know what I hear people talk about it, and I'm not very sort of you know me. I'm not that esoteric in the sort of these terms. What does ascension mean? Like go up? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, as human beings, well, okay, so I'll just say for me, as a human being, I lived my life, and because of this accident, we could call it a near-death experience, getting close to the other realm. So I was able to access more of my non-human abilities, and I believe that everyone has this capability, and many people go through a near-death experience to access it. And I believe that not everyone needs to go through a near death experience to access it.
Mm.
There's a lot of, I'm going off topic. There's a lot of people that have this energy, have this spark, that can help others, like spark the energy within them that kind of, I wouldn't say replicate a near death experience, but sparks um, the some kind of ascension thing within them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds a bit like to me, I'd call it like a psychic emergence, like another world becomes apparent to you. Like I've been living like this without realizing there's this layer or level of reality that's also there, and I haven't been taking it into consideration. But now I'm aware of it, I have to take it into consideration.
Yeah, there's no going back. There's no going back,
It's like
really.
the Matrix, isn't it? You can't get put back into the Matrix.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I got highly sensitive. It was during lockdown. Luckily, I was alone in the house, and everyone else was stuck in other countries. That sounds bad, but I'd rather,
Yeah.
for me, it was good that my family didn't see me like that. I believe I went into freeze. I went into some kind of psychosis as well. And just to tagline something, because of my brain trauma, I wasn't able to read books. I wasn't able to really educate myself. Um, so the things that I experience it. I don't know how to frame it. And then maybe a couple of months or years later, I'm talking to someone about it and they say, oh, that sounds like a soul retrieval, for example. During that time period, um, something happened, uh, and I didn't know what it was. I was able to describe it. And then I was speaking to one of my friends, described it to her, and she was like, that's a soul retrieval experience. I was like, well, that makes sense. That's
Mm.
exactly how it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tend to experience things because I don't read books or have a teacher or anything. I experience things, and then I get the label of what it is much later on.
Confirmation. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So, um, if you like, I mean, I'd be fascinated in how that emergence process, becoming psychic, because we've got like you stopped the pain. What was the next thing where you started to go, wait a minute, like reality is not the way I thought it was?
Okay. Um, so what I describe as a spiritual psychosis, when I went into a spiritual psychosis, um, I got scared of the dark because I felt presences in my room. So these presences, what I call entities, um, were like playing with my feet at night in bed. They were like touching my feet. They were touching my ankles. There's a phrase to describe this, and I don't know what it is. Uh, and they were touching my head and poking my face. Honestly, there was no one else in the room. I felt it. But as I said, there was some psychosis. So
Mm.
I I didn't for months I didn't sleep at night, but I stayed in bed with the light on and I waited until the sunlight came up and then I slept. So I went through this terrible experience by myself, which I prefer, because none of my family would have understood. Um, and I faced the demons, I faced the entities. Um, I found my light through the shadows, through my fears. Um,
Do you
I
want
look
to do
into,
that? Like, I mean,
sorry?
was there a specific moment you said, like, I'm facing an entity and I get it, like, I understand what it's about. And by the way, I just want to reference Isabel Clarke, who wrote a book called Spirituality Psychosis or Spiritual Psychosis, where it's not a normal psychosis. It's a different thing because we are in another dimension, as it were. But I've ordered a book. It hasn't arrived yet because I'm just fascinated I'm fascinated by these things. Uh,
Yes.
so um and she has a PhD. She's somebody in the UK that studies this. She's a therapist and everything else. So it's I think she's saying, from a psychic spiritual point of view, there is a different process or a different experience. And there may be some people who are apparently psychotic. They're not. They're having difficulty in integrating new perceptions, new abilities, new views of the world, and it's very difficult for other people to handle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is why I said that I am so lucky that I was alone, because maybe I would have acted differently with other people's energy, with
mm,
family members' energy. I was able to just go into freeze state. I sat on the ground. There were sofas in the house. It was locked down. I sat on the ground for 3 months straight. Yes, I went. I went to bed. I went to the kitchen.
you went to
Um,
7-Eleven. Yeah.
sorry.
You went to 7-Eleven, got food. I mean,
No, this was in England.
oh, you were in England. Ah,
Yes, for
okay.
lockdown. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
I had a fear of people, of other people's energy, of walking outside of the house. Um, I can't remember the phobia when you're afraid to go out.
Lost agoraphobia.
Yes, yes, yes. This
And,
here.
and so many people can relate to this, especially, I mean, I can relate to it, certainly. You become aware of energy, and suddenly somebody walks into the room and you go, oh my God, what have they done to this room? Yeah. And how do I feel like the energy is so oppressive? It's kind of like really, really weird. And you've never felt it before, and suddenly you're feeling this stuff, and nobody else notices. It's only you.
But
Yeah.
it was amplified, when we go through this, what I call spiritual psychosis. I'll be really interested to read your book, to read that book, maybe if my brain allows it. Um, but it's like being a newborn, honestly.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
not certain to equate it with that. Yeah. I mean, it's like I can relate to that. And also I mean I've coined the term secondary autism, where you go, I need to shut down. I don't need to talk to anybody. There's too much going on. I just need to go inside. Like, leave me alone. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, uh, and if I share with other people, they're not going to get me. They're going to think I'm crazy. So I'm going to, you know, just, you know, keep stumm, keep completely quiet.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, did you have like, I mean, because if I don't know about you, but like somewhat viewers are going to think the word demon means like there's this horned devil, coming out of the walls and there's fire flaming up behind him, or you say you faced your demons. Did you experience like some horned devil or some like impish, you know?
This is a really big topic.
Yes, yeah.
I will try to speak as much as I can on this.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, whatever's comfortable.
yeah. So with demons, for me, it's the energetic imprint. So I can feel the energetic imprint of a space, an area of people, of a group of people, of the collective. And so when I do group quantum healings, because of my memory, that I had a short-term memory, and I forgot a lot of things as I spoke, even. And so when I did group quantum healings, I would give psychic messages. And sometimes I would forget what the psychic message for this person was. So I would ask, do you mind if I go over and just put my hand on your shoulder just to remember your energetic imprint and remember your psychic message? And because of the energy, I was able to remember their psychic message. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that in. What was the question again? Demons.
I was curious about this demons because I've been reading this book by a lama, and it's called like Feeding Your Demons, which is taking a loving kindness, compassionate approach to the things that we're afraid of, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, and and then of course, we have uh, we're driven as children. I don't know. At least I was by stories of demons, and I've been terrified of the dark because there's something,
Mm.
scary in the dark. And then there's a whole industry of movies that, is yeah, making a good living out of demons.
It's interesting. I I like to experience my own experience, and even if someone is telling me something, it's like great. That's educational. That's your experience. I like to kind of see what my experience is, you know. So with demons, for me, what I see are shadows.
Hmm.
And it's their energetic imprint that I can differentiate between a demon and an entity. If someone has an addiction, they have a, a demon on them.
Hmm.
So as a shadow worker, um, I funnily enough, because I've faced my own demons, and I'm not saying, oh, I am so clear of everything. No, every day there is always something to observe. And my friends know me as a shadow worker that really faces. It's like, oh wow, that has come to light. I'm going to dive right in and face that shadow. I'm going to come face to face with the shadow or the demon or the entity. I actually teach this in my empowered healer training, where I teach about shadows, difference between shadows, entities, and demons. So the biggest thing for me is the energetic imprint. Um, I can remove things. I'd rather not, because there's the whole energetics. There's a whole energetic hygiene, and also it's the respect of the other individual's own personal journey, where people, although I can go in and help them remove things, I'm not going to do that, because then they may suffer, as in like the lessons might come in harder then. So energy healers really need to be careful of when they cut cords for someone else, when they remove entities for someone else, when they remove demons for someone else. The demons are a lesson. If someone is addicted to alcohol, removing that demon, then the person has free will to pick up a drink again,
Yeah,
and it might come down harder. So energetic hygiene and ethics is super important.
yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. I'm curious because you've learned all this, and and I can underline so many things that you're saying. But you've learned it. You haven't learned it from books. So what was the? Did you have an experience where you said, "Oh, a, like a I'm using the word demon, but or it's an imprint of something." Um, and then you faced it, and then who gave you the instructions to deal with it the way you dealt with it? I mean, it's just fascinating for me.
So I, I, sorry.
I mean, if you can't talk about it, it's okay because it might be,
I
but
can talk about it, but I don't want to come across, you can cut this part out. I don't want to come across as egoic and a know-it-all. But this is honestly, uh, me. This is honestly my life. I don't want to be better than anyone else, you know? So talking about it, like I just learned it because I lived through it. And there's a part of my brain, or my higher self, my higher brain, that enables me to just program with all the ethics and the energetics and the knowledge from previous lives, or the knowledge from my ancestors, or the knowledge that is available to me in the collective space, for me to then just know how to do things.
Right.
It's a very strange thing. Like, so my accident, my brain trauma is it has been a huge gift in this way. And yes, in the human life, it has kind of set me back in many different ways, but it has propelled me in the other realms. And it's that balance. I accept that it happened to me. I accept that where I am in life mightn't be the where other people my age are, you know? So I accept that. I'm okay with that. It's a different life that I am living for sure. The things I describe to other psychics or other healers, um, they because I'm also looking for camaraderie. I'm looking for like other people that just get it, that can do the same things as me. And it's really interesting to to talk about this kind of stuff with other people and their methods of doing it, whether it is having a mentor, getting trained in energy healing. Um, from what I have observed, so a few of my friends have gone to psychic school, and uh, so in one particular psychic school, the student said that using white light energy is not good. And then for me, I kind of went away and I was thinking, that's a program that is taught by this psychic school. It's how you use it. If you have a person here that when they heal or when they get messages, they see white light, that and they're not using it in a bad way, their intention is pure and good, then the white light energy is not bad. You know?
Right. I think a lot of people and I don't know what you think. I'd be interested in what you think. I think a lot of people approach the psychic realm almost like a religion, like this is good and this is bad, and actually it all depends, really.
Yes. It
Yeah.
depends on the individual. It depends on their intention. It depends on their past lives, their ancestral lineage, their upbringing, how much work they've done on themselves,
Yeah.
how much shadows they have faced, to get to the uh, pure intentionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it sounds like you had this opening and kind of you're just getting answers to questions that are coming up as they come up, which
Yeah.
must have been like unusual, and being on your own and being in the UK during COVID. It's like being sent on a 2-year retreat. Um, and then and then um, and really meeting you inspired me to say, look, I want to bring you on the podcast because I think so many people could benefit from it. But you then step up into being a mentor and um, and teaching your own. Well, I'm not sure, but I think it's your own curriculum. Like you said, quantum healing as a word, but then there is this like brand, quantum healing. I don't know if it's the same thing. Um, so I'm fascinated by that.
Which part? That was a really big sentence.
Okay, shall we start with so at what point
Can
what
I tell you how I practiced?
story
Let me
when
tell you how I practice it.
okay,
Right.
that's good. Yeah, we'll take
Okay.
that.
Let's start there. Um, People may want to know.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the other parts of your question. Okay, so how how I practiced um, during COVID, there was an app called Clubhouse. So this app is a speaking app. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
like a video or anything, it's just the voice. So when I got an invitation to go onto it, and remember, I was a massive hermit, agoraphobic here. And when I heard of Clubhouse, I was like, yes, this is something. I don't know what it is. I want to be on that. So then I spent a week kind of going in and out of the rooms that were available. People were talking about, the jabs and life stuff. So I was like, how do I do a room? What are the rules? What are the guidelines? So I spent a week learning, and then after the week, I was like, right, I'm gonna open a psychic reading room, free psychic readings. So uh, there was a lot of people, over 100 people, and I was like, yeah, this is great. I had no formal training. And I didn't read any books at all. I just wanted to do it because I need to see, like, what is this drive? What is this invisible drive? It wasn't here. It was
Yeah.
just this, "Rah, just do it" kind of thing. I was like, yeah. So I started reading people. Okay, so how did I do that? So on the app, you just have a profile picture. So a circle with a profile picture. You have a bio. You can write whatever you want. So I said to them, this is my first time ever doing this. I would call these blind readings. I'm going to test myself. I'm not going to read any of your information. I just want to see if I can read your photograph. So everyone was like, okay, great. And I said, you don't need to speak either. I just want to read the photograph, because speaking, I will get their energy and some of their, I'll be able to read that really easily. So I started reading and telling people things that there's no way that I could have known. I've done maybe close to a thousand readings, maybe over 1,000. I don't know. So there was an example. I'll give you this example. It always is very clear in my mind. So there was this woman, and I read her profile photo, and I said, okay, right. I'm getting this message that you have like an issue with your spleen, and it is troubling you a lot, and you are considering some kind of surgery. And I feel that you're based in America, and actually the advice is that they're telling me, is that, can you try other holistic avenues? Can you try acupuncture? Can you try traditional medicine? Try that. They're saying don't get the surgery. And then I snapped out. I snapped out of that, and I was like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. This is medical advice. I am not medically trained. Um, please do what you see fit in your life. This is just for entertainment purposes." And
Yes.
she was like, "Yes, okay." So I continued with some messages, and then at the end I said, "So please share, unmute your mic and share if that's what you're going through, if you resonate with any of that." And she was like, "There's no way in hell. I am surprised. I am shocked. There's no way in hell that anybody knows that about me. There's no way that you can know that about me. I was considering surgery, and I have been considering acupuncture." And my mind was blown as well. There's no way that I could know anybody's medical thing, you
Yeah.
know?
And they were
So
in the
those are
States?
the
They,
type of,
were they in the States?
sorry, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So these are the psychic messages that for many years I've just been doing and practicing. There's I think 7 psychic abilities. My strongest one, and everybody has their strongest one. My strongest one is claircognizance, with it just knowing. And I actually feel very what's the word? Sorry, like sensitive with just knowing, because if I say that to the wrong person, they'll think that I'm egoic or know-it-all, or a know-it-all, and I really don't want to be perceived as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the kind of like the flip side.
Yes.
And I know that I just need to own it. So claircognizance is just knowing. So if you're clairvoyant, you can see images, and you can see images like a movie. And there's like 7 altogether. So my strongest one is cognizant. Where I am now on my journey, so I've gotten through the sensitive part. So I wasn't able to be in a space with people going through like deep themes of like trauma, or if they're in a bad mood, it would really affect me as an empath. I'm like, oh no, I have to protect myself, I have to leave the room or something like that. Where I am now, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. This is such a big thing for highly sensitive people and empaths.
What was the
What
breakthrough then?
we're
What,
training.
I mean, I totally agree. Yeah. So what was the breakthrough moment or learning? I mean, when did that happen? You tell us.
It was a breakthrough learning. It's just just keep on going.
Keep on
What I
going.
did was just keep on going. Do my practices. I don't have many practices or rituals. One of the most important things for me as a highly sensitive person is the protection. Is the protection, the intentionality as well of like I'm not trying to harm you, but your energy is affecting me. I'm going to protect myself with
Mm.
an energy bubble or intentionality, and it just builds. It's like a muscle. Like psychic abilities is it's like a muscle,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think I like the term skill. It's something you can train and improve if you want to, and like playing the violin. If you practice playing the violin a lot, you can get very good at it. And if you don't, yeah. Anyway, but yeah. Well, that is interesting. And so then you went from realizing you got these psychic abilities and now you can actually deal with other people's problems. What was when did you start teaching? What
Um,
happened?
in December 2024. So I just wrote that I just had this kind of this push again, this push to do it. And I was like, I'm okay, I need to do something with what I know. I need to help other highly sensitive people. That because I know a lot of people that just stay at home, hermits. And actually, I can see and I can tell that they really want community, but it feels too dangerous for their nervous system
Mm,
to leave the house. And they can live a more happy and joyous life. They just need to know how to protect themselves. So back in December, I just wrote a whole load of learning objectives that can help people that I was the level of sensitivity that I had. And like through this, I hope to empower other people. Right now, it's just for women. This is what I feel. It's not like
yeah, it doesn't matter.
a
Well,
mental
it
kind
needs
of
to be, it
decision.
needs to be like I think one of the things is you need to be behind it, and if it's at the moment it's like that, then it's just like that. It's
Yeah.
like
And I'm happy to open it up to everyone later on in the year if the energy is right. You know, the energy is right just for women now. It's not a cerebral kind of decision.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah, it's the word is congruent. We have to feel congruent.
absolutely. Yes. The
So,
energy for me, the energy has to be right with
yeah.
everything in life. My decisions are made mainly through energy.
Right. How has it affected other parts of your life? So, has it been, I mean, if you can talk about it, like relationship or finances or all of this kind of stuff, has it, this um psychic breakthrough or ascension?
Um, the parts of this question, I can speak on me right now. So how I am right now, um, I'm quite a direct person, and I have open communication. That is just how I am. It's not that I try to be like. It's just how I am. And people that come into my life, um, I I want to be accepted for my openness and my directness. Not everyone can stay in my life because I'm too open and too direct. I have a I'm fascinated by psychology and human behavior, so I can also I can see the root of someone's behavioral patterns. So actually. in order to be my friend or close to me, I like to discuss psychology, behavioral patterns. I've spent most of my life trying to figure out myself. Everyone is a puzzle, and I think that it's so fascinating when we dive deep within ourselves, to see the shadow, to see the light, to see the programming, to see the past lives, to see the ancestral trauma as well.
Mm.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that's your question.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that like in my life, I think talking from my point of view, like uh, being being in a relationship with me is like, of course, I have friends where we talk about the weather, but I have friends that I can talk about the stuff like the psychic stuff, which is to say, like, you're a friend because I can talk about stuff that like nobody else gets me. And you may not, you'll get me to a certain extent and I'll get you to a certain extent, but at least that's better. That's better. That's some sort of community. And it was, why I started the podcast in the first place, because there's so much evidence out there and personal evidence we can't put in a laboratory and test, but people that are experiencing uh, a psychic opening or ascension, however you want to call it, like they're going to be, it's going to be like honey to them. It's going to be like, a nectar. It's like, oh, that's what I needed to hear. And then I think of my lovely girlfriend who I'll say, I don't want to go there today, but you went there yesterday. And I go, yeah, but today the energy is no good there, so I'm not going there. And it's like, how are you supposed to understand that? I mean, like, how's somebody else supposed to relate to these feelings that I have that I have to trust? I just have to trust.
And
So
it's being human, isn't it? The feelings.
yeah.
We've been programmed to just follow our brains and the cerebral way, and we have been rewarded in society for doing good in exams, for doing good at work, in an office. Not saying that all office jobs are not good, um, but with the world turning to more and more towards AI, robotics, and stuff like that, being human is the greatest gift, uh, the greatest pleasure in one's lifetime. Why would we ever want to be robotic? We have feelings and we have free will. How exciting is that? And we get to observe ourselves. So I have always talked about, like, when I talk about my higher self in previous years, and when I say my higher self, it's I always do this. So they are there. But what has happened to me in recent months is that it's kind of like my higher self is me in it. My higher self is me, and when I speak to people, it's like I'm just channeling, but I'm not trying to. I never try to. Um, and it's really hard to say. It's like truth as well, and maybe a lot of people would say, "Well, you don't know all the truth." That is true, but when I speak, I feel like me, and I feel like my higher self is within me, and it feels more than just claircognizance. It feels more than just it's an embodiment of the higher self. I don't know if this is like a thing that people go towards to do. I don't know because I, I don't listen or read books or anything like that. But I think that so what I've been doing is that just living my life as a human being, and kind of like observing who I am and how I react and what I feel. And is it my higher self? Is it, and I don't feel, that's the thing, I don't feel that, oh, that's my higher self. It's just Alice. Whatever Alice is,
Mm,
I'm just speaking.
mm,
And a lot of people, like when they're ready to hear things, as a shadow worker, I can see just naturally, for me, it's just conversational, actually, shadows. And of course, there's ethics. It's not like I go around reading people, or it's not like I go around having shadow conversations with people that aren't ready. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah. And well, of course it made sense to me. But I mean, I think it will make sense to other people. And I kind of almost want to segue. I this is a segue into your professional. Are you still doing this mentoring work,
Yeah.
coaching work? Yeah, because that's a fascinating thing where you work with people on a one-on-one basis, is it?
Yes. So, I do a few things. I do one-on-ones, sessions of quantum healing. For me, I would prefer if the person could come back, because one session, it's not going to help a lot. It can help a lot, but it's not going to help a lot in the long term.
Yeah.
So when I work one-on-one with someone, 6 months, 1 year, we I have so I've got two sides. I've got the human side and the spiritual side. I've got the psychology side and I've got the psychic side, and I mesh that all together. So I'm able to see in a with a client, um, with their behavioral pattern, root it, and then we discuss it, if that makes sense. So I used to call, and I might still do, call when someone works with me. It's faster than therapy, because traditional therapy, it's like, and how does that make you feel? If I went to some therapists and I didn't like them, because I'm coming to you because I can't figure something out myself. So I want you as a professional to tell me what I can't see. What are the shadows that I'm not seeing that is impacting my life so much that I need to go to a professional? And they always ask the question, and how does that make you feel? I don't know, like just tell me. Yeah. So how I work is with individuals that are ready to face their shadows, ready to face themselves, ready for change, and ready for soul evolution,
Hmm.
ready to look at their past, their trauma, their childhoods, um, to better their lives in the present moment.
Yeah. So that's actually, it sounds to me that's quite, that really does eliminate a lot of people, and it really gives you a very much like a focused market, because there's a lot of people that are going to go like, oh yeah, and then they pick up the phone. I mean, now we don't pick up the phone. I'm back in the days where it was this, massive thing, and they go, yeah, let me just think about that for another 5 minutes. Yeah, do I really want to do this? And then, and you're saying, no, I'm gonna be there with you, but it might not be an easy road, but I'll be there with you, and I can see it. Like, and I totally relate, the energy work that I do. So it isn't about, what people understanding reason and logic. You can kind of say it's a level, but if you could put that to a side for a minute, it would help things a lot. So yeah. And how can people if say you've got somebody who sees this and they go, I really, really want to, I feel totally on, you're spot on all the things you've said. I want to have coaching with you. Can they do it? Do they have to fly to Chiang Mai, or can they do it online, or
Yes.
do they just put in their number and you just send them the report and
Yeah, so people can find me on Instagram as the Alice Muse. So I don't actually post that much anymore, because it was just, social media. It just didn't feel in alignment, and also it's deeply personal stuff that I'm kind of just putting myself out there that I haven't been ready for. And maybe this is the start. That okay, I'm ready to put everything out there, because there are people out there just like me that need to hear this. Maybe they're like still on their journey. Oh, everyone is still on their journey. But maybe my story can help them not feel so alone, and feel part of a community, or have someone understand them. Or if, like me, I do a lot of like shadow, like deep work. So if I can't figure something out, I want to go to someone that can just tell me, Alice, this, and this. This is your shadow, and this is what you need to work on. I'm like, yeah, brilliant. I didn't see that. I couldn't see it. So I needed to go to you to see it. Thank you so much. This is my audience, people like me that are ready to face their shadows, as I said.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
Not,
you're so direct. It just really comes through really clearly. You're really you want to be direct, and you want people that can take it when you are direct.
yeah,
So that
honestly, people that want to be my friend who can't take open and direct communication, that but they like my energy, you know? It's like it's not gonna work, love. It's not gonna work. Sorry. I'm not I don't want to it's not about kindness either. I don't want to like wrap it up in a bow for
yeah.
people. They're not my people, unfortunately. I just be honest. Um, they're not
Yeah.
ready for.
It's really fun. I think it's fascinating because I think that a lot of people, if you went like, okay, this is the issue, and they almost like they want to make excuses for it, and like, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is the structure. This needs to change. I'm not. There's no blame. Yeah, it's like you're almost imprisoned because of this. Yeah,
Yeah,
so um, yeah, it's and I think there becomes a certain amount like. I'd like to believe there's almost like a certain amount of um, how can I say? Again, I'm having this difficulty with words sometimes. So it's like somebody can say anything to you if you understand the psychic a little bit and you don't take it so personally. It's like, yeah, it's just a thing that's there, and for there's conditions that made it arise, and I'm unable to see it, and maybe I'm even part of me is even clinging on to it because it gives me a little bit of my stability in life or whatever. So yeah,
their image, it's their self-image, it's their program from maybe from childhood.
hmm,
You know, like you know, with some people, maybe they have a very strong identity of working hard and achieving and making money. Um, and that stems from childhood somewhere where their value and their worth like was programmed by maybe their parents, maybe their peers, um,
hmm,
that to be worthy, they need to work hard and achieve. And workaholism, you know?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
On
So just going back to where people can find me. So um,
Instagram, you said.
I'm on Instagram as the Alice Muse, and I you can get in touch with me there if people want to work with me. If people are ready and willing to face their own shadows, I can guide them through it and in a very empowering way. I never want to take anyone's power away from them or make them need me. Yes, there will be a need at the start, but it will be walking towards self empowerment, sovereignty.
Right.
Yes.
So not a budding cult leader then.
No, thank you. No, no, thank you.
Yeah,
No.
no, thank you. So, okay, well, look, that's cool. I'm very grateful for you to come on the podcast because I think it's the first one you've ever done. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I know that your story is, and I feel like I do just get you. So, and that's lovely. I just get you being you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
That's lovely.
know? I mean, we're going to cut this part off, right?
No, I think that's totally me being genuinely grateful to you because I just love it. Um, but I mean, we can end the pod. Okay, guys, we're ending the podcast, so you can't hear what Alice is about to say. Thank you for and remember to subscribe and get notifications.